This Chat with the Experts is brought to you by Angie's List on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to Chat with the Experts, brought to you by Angie's List. We've had a really good show today, talking all about gutters with the help of John Chambers of Leaf Guard of Indiana, about everything from the importance of cleaning your gutters to how to handle gutter replacement. And it's been a good conversation with a lot of good information, but now it is time to transition to our Writer's Block segment. This is the portion of the show where we welcome in one of the creators of Angie's List magazine and online content to share with us some tips and some of the stories that they've been writing. And today's guest is our old friend, Hugh Vandivier. He's the senior editor with Angie's List who oversees our Angie's List Indianapolis magazine. He's a seasoned journalism veteran who's contributed to a large number of publications throughout the years. But these days, he's known for heading up our Indy magazine, and he's got all kinds of great stories from around the city. Hugh, welcome back to Chat with the Experts.
Kyle, a pleasure as always.
Yeah. You know, I was just thinking it's been over a year now since we officially launched the Angie's List Indianapolis exclusive magazine, and you've had the role of kind of overseeing the creation of that. What's the most important thing that you've learned in the past year?
I think the biggest thing is, one, we wanted to create a local experience in the magazine that really is true to the core, and that is making sure that we're keeping the focus on their main goal of being helpful to our members. Now, at the same time, we've had a lot of fun trying to figure out new and interesting ways to convey information. I mean, case in point, we can do a million different ways to tell you how to mow your lawn, but to be able to go out to Victory Field, that's one of my favorite stories of last year.
Yeah.
But also, I think bringing the neighborhood focuses in, I think those have been some stories that have been incredibly fun to do. We've learned an awful lot. And like I've said before many times, it doesn't matter if you don't live in Fishers or Zionsville or Brownsburg. You can learn something about what it's like to live in those neighborhoods and towns from the people who live there. And those are Angie's List members, and those are highly rated companies that service those communities.
Yeah, it's been a blast every month reading about a new neighborhood and learning about a different area of our city. And in speaking of new ways of telling stories, this October issue, the focal point is photos, which is going to make for an interesting conversation today. They say a picture's worth 1,000 words, Hugh. Well, that makes sense. Let's talk about this, though. How did this issue come about?
I'll try to give you less than 1,000 words on the photo issue.
Okay.
It really came about because we have a really great crackerjack staff of award-winning photographers that includes Brandon Smith, Eldon Lindsay, and Steve Mitchell. We added to that, bringing on Mike Fender and Frank Espich, and really Mike had the idea to really kind of curate an issue and have that photography team go out and do some storytelling visually, and also with all of the kind of refocus and a redesign that we've been putting in the magazine, it really gave those guys a chance to shine, really. And I'm just bowled over by the results we got. It's a terrific and very good visual issue, but you also are learning a lot, just like you would from any other issue of the magazine.
Yeah. So not only do we have incredible photos from our own in-house team at Angie's List, we got photos from elsewhere as well. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we. When you open up the magazine, you're going to learn about the most amazing thing is in those local tips ideas that we came up with, had the idea of what about those guys who wash the windows of the JW Marriott?
Right.
And Mike and Brandon they went out there with the team that washes the windows. It takes them about 2 weeks. You're talking about 7,300 panels that are about 800 pounds each on these big blue windows in this big, beautiful blue building that highlights the downtown Indianapolis. So they were able to get a GoPro camera and put it up so they could control it remotely from Mike's phone.
Yeah.
In addition to the regular photos that they got from on the roof and on the ground. In addition, we've got some great tips on how to clean your windows and what not to do too.
Yeah. One thing that I have to mention is, we got some of these photos from service providers as well. We
Absolutely.
had a contest earlier this year, and we got some stellar photos of completed projects that I feel like are just, they're just they wow you to see them. Like we know that this guy is a reputable contractor, but now I can actually see the work, this completed project.
What was it, 1,500 photos we got in from that contest?
Yeah, I think so.
That was amazing. And then some really good stuff. I mean, so we had categories for, I think the grand prize winner was for kitchen, right? It was a beautiful kitchen remodel, bathrooms, interiors, landscaping, and before and after. So you're going to see those in that issue. And these were taken and coordinated by our highly rated service providers.
Well, there's a lot to see there. In regards to Indianapolis itself, the neighborhood discussed in this issue is the Old North Side. What did we learn about this area of Indianapolis?
Yeah, this is the area that includes Penn Arts, the Harrison Center, Indiana Landmarks, that beautiful building that was renovated, the Morris Butler House, and the President Benjamin Harrison's home. But I think the most fun part about was getting inside the home of Dr. Larry Blazak. This was a home that was built by Ovid Butler, the founder of Butler University, for his daughter in the 1800s.
Wow.
Lew Wallace, the Civil War general and author of Ben-Hur, also lived there. And he acquired it in 1979, and it took until just a few years ago for him to actually get the place remodeled and moved into. So it's just gorgeous. He is. It's a nice look inside a very just beautiful home of the type that you'll see in the Old North Side. I mean, this is an area with some very, very beautiful Victorian homes.
Yeah, some of the most beautiful houses in the city, really. It's a beautiful area of town. Another article I really enjoyed in this issue was about salvage shops. How are people using items from salvage shops to kind of spruce up their homes? Yeah,
we have quite a number of places around. So you've got another fine mess, of course. Tim Harmon and Julie Crow grace our cover for the Indianapolis Magazine. People are, if they're looking for stained glass or chandeliers or signage, or they had stuff from like superheroes and like they just big old-timey kind of like signs and advertisements and any sort of fixtures, anything to go along with. And I think that rather than go to like a place, up on the, let's just say the north side around Keystone where it crosses some certain things, you can really find some stuff at these shops. And there are a good number of them all around Indianapolis that are reclaiming and restoring and recovering some really fine items from older homes.
Yeah, so you kind of got the sense that right here in Indy, this trend is taking flight.
Yeah, and just so we want to make sure that again, one thing that's better to show not just to show rather than just tell, and to be able to let people see inside some of these places and the kind of things that they can find.
Yeah, it's really cool stuff, especially if you have an eye for it, or maybe you've hired an interior designer that kind of help lead you in that direction, give you sort of the rustic look. I mean, there's so many different options and things out there to kind of put together. It's really kind of neat to read about it. There's also a really fun feature that we had on flat top roofs and how squares and cubes are starting to play a big role in home design. How is this trend taking shape?
Well, and you'll see them around. So you'll see Demerly Architects was one of them, who designed some buildings around that you'll notice quite prominently right over on 11th Street, right where the Circle City complex is being renovated. Up in Broad Ripple, down along the White River, Fountain Square's got a couple of them. Yeah. And these are homes that that are going for volume and less profile, is what one of the guy from Demerly said. Given our earlier discussion on gutters, that may be an issue for you to discuss if you're going to consider a home like that. But it seems to be a new trend because they're very different, and we've noticed them out there. So we wanted to really profile a few of those houses that are going on.
Yeah, no question. Well, fall is almost here, and you being the know-it-all about the Indianapolis area, tell us some fun things to do around Indy this time of year.
Well, I actually 2 years ago rode in what IndyCog calls the Tweed Ride, and this was a chance for us to dress up in your grandfather's clothes and wear a nice fedora and go outside on a nice fall day. Group bike ride. This is taking place on October 24th. They've got limited spots. They just opened it up for, so they're going to go fast. So if you're interested in doing something really fun and maybe taking a step back in time with your modern day bike, which is what I did. It's a really blast. And it's, speaking of, it was a great, the route always changes, but we've gone in with Old North Side and things like that, other neighborhoods. So it's a great way to see neighborhoods on a nice fall day.
Yeah, that's a really cool option. There's a lot to do, and of course, everybody knows how big of a fan of Halloween I am. There's a lot of ghost tours, especially in Irvington.
Absolutely,
so no shortage of things to do around the area. Hugh, thank you once again for coming back on the show. I feel like every time you come on, I always learn something, which is a good thing. So thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely great to be here.
You can check out all kinds of Angie's List content, including articles, videos, and even podcasts by going to angieslist.com and going to our articles page. And if you want your own monthly copy of Angie's List magazine, you can get one by subscribing to Angie's List. Just go to angieslist.com, hit join now, use the promo code WIBC40. You're going to get 40% off an annual membership. Another big thank you to John Chambers of Leaf Guard of Indiana for coming on the show. If you missed anything at all, you can find us on iTunes or our website. Thank you so much for joining us today. This has been Chat with the Experts, and we'll catch you next time.
Angie's List believes that hiring great local service providers should be easy. Whether you need a plumber or a pet sitter, you can find one at angieslist.com. See ratings and reviews in hundreds of categories, shop popular offers, and request scheduling assistance directly online. Memberships start at just $9.99 per year. That's less than $1 a month. Join today and get 40% off with promo code WIBC40. Visit angieslist.com to sign up.